I am Nadia Ahmed, 52 years old, a widow from Karachi, Pakistan. I raised 2 children alone after my husband passed, built a beautiful home with every rupee we saved, and trusted my only brother to watch over it while I worked abroad. This is the story I never thought I would have to tell. How I returned from Dubai to find my $850,000 house gone, sold by the one person who was supposed to protect me. For broken trust stories, I share it now so no one else makes the same mistake I did. When the taxi pulled up to what should have been my street, the world tilted. There was no white gate, no jasmine vines I had planted with my own hands, no familiar scent of damp earth after the evening spray, just an empty plot of cracked soil, a rusty-soled board leaning sideways, and the faint smell of fresh cement hanging in the hot Karachi air. My heart slammed against my ribs. "Bye, Yekia hi," I whispered to myself, clutching the taxi door. The driver asked if I was okay. I couldn't answer. 2 years I had spent in Dubai, working double shifts in a hospital so my children could finish their studies in America, sending every extra dirham home for repairs and bills. And now, nothing. My legs felt like water as I stepped onto the dusty ground where my living room once stood. The silence was louder than any scream. Before I left for Dubai, life had been quiet and full in its own small way. Every morning I would wake to the call of the muezzin and the clink of teacups. Bilal, my younger brother, lived just 2 streets away with his wife and teenage son. He would drop by for breakfast, par the fresh off the tawa, strong chai with cardamom, the way our mother used to make it. "Baji, don't worry," he would say, patting my hand, his voice warm and steady. "I'll look after the house like it's my own. Pay the bills, keep the garden green, everything." I believed him. He had always been the playful one, the one who made us laugh even after our parents died. My children, Sarah and Ahmed, were already in the States. I was the last piece of the puzzle keeping the family house alive. I remember the night before my flight. We sat on the veranda, the ceiling fan whirring softly, the smell of jasmine heavy in the dark. Bilal hugged me tight. "Go earn, Baji. I've got this." I boarded the plane with peace in my heart. But small things started whispering to me even while I was away. The first call came 3 months after I landed in Dubai. Bilal's voice sounded thinner on the phone, like he was speaking from the bottom of a well. "Everything is fine, Baji. Just some water leakage in the kitchen." I fixed it. I asked for photos. He sent one blurry image that didn't look like my kitchen at all. Then the excuses piled up. "Bank is closed today. Internet problem. Don't worry. I'm handling it." I told myself he was busy, that men don't think about sending pictures the way women do. I pushed the unease down, buried it under 12-hour shifts and the ache of missing home. Yet at night, in my tiny Dubai room, the doubt would creep in like humidity. Why did his laugh sound forced now? Why did he never mention the garden anymore? I tried to ignore it. I really did. I flew back 2 months earlier than planned. My contract had ended, and the hospital offered me a permanent position, but something inside me refused to sign. The calls from Bilal had grown shorter, almost mechanical. "All good, Baji. House is fine. Garden needs water." No details, no laughter, no questions about my health. I told myself I was being paranoid. Years of single parenting had made me overthink everything. Still, I booked the ticket. I wanted to surprise them, to walk through my own front door, smell the familiar polish on the wooden floors, hear the old ceiling fan creak in welcome. The surprise was mine. After standing frozen on that empty plot for what felt like hours, I called Bilal. My fingers shook so badly I almost dropped the phone. It rang 4 times before he picked up. "Bye. Where is my house?" A long pause. Then his voice, casual, almost amused. "Oh, you're back already? Welcome home, Baji." "Bilal, where is my house?" He laughed. A short, dry sound that cut deeper than any shout. "I cashed out, Baji. The market was hot. I got a good price, 8 crore rupees. More than you ever dreamed. You were struggling in Dubai, sending money for nothing. I thought, why let it sit empty? I've got a new flat now, nicer view, security. For my family." My knees buckled. I sat right there on the cracked ground, dust sticking to my shower. "You sold it? Without telling me? That house was mine. Ours. Mama and Papa left it to both of us, but I paid every installment after Abu died." "You never paid a single rupee." His tone hardened. "We're blood, Nadia. What's yours is mine. You were never coming back anyway. Always talking about America, about your kids. I did you a favor. Now you've got cash. I'll send you half. Maybe more. Relax. Half." After he had already spent God knows how much on his new life. I could hear his wife in the background, laughing at something on television. The normalcy of it made me nauseous. I hung up. My throat burned. I sat there until the sun dipped low and the azan for Maghrib floated over the empty streets. A stray dog sniffed near the sold board, then trotted away. I felt like that dog. Lost, sniffing for something that no longer existed. That night I stayed in a small guest house near the airport. I couldn't face anyone yet. I opened my laptop and started digging. Bank statements I had access to showed transfers, large ones, from my account to his over the last 18 months. Maintenance. The descriptions read, repairs. I remembered signing those powers of attorney so he could handle things while I was away. I had trusted him completely. My signature had given him the keys to everything. The next morning I went to the registrar's office. The papers were clean, legal. Bilal had power of attorney and he had used it. The buyer, some businessman from Lahore, had paid in full. No fraud, no forgery. Just betrayal dressed up as family business. I confronted him that afternoon at his new flat. A high-rise with glass windows and a doorman. He opened the door in a crisp Korda, smiling like nothing had happened. Baji, come in. I made chai. I stepped inside. Marble floors, new furniture, the smell of fresh paint. His wife offered me sweets. I declined. Why? My voice was quiet. I didn't shout. I didn't need to. He shrugged. You were gone. The house was eating money, taxes, maintenance, electricity. I couldn't keep paying from my salary. And honestly, I needed a fresh start. My son is getting married next year. I wanted something better for him. You could have asked me. You would have said no. He was right. I would have, because that house held every memory. The spot on the wall where Sarah drew her first crayon sun. The kitchen counter where Ahmed learned to make tea for me after long night shifts. The veranda where my husband and I sat planning our future before cancer took him. Bilal looked at me with something close to pity. Take the money, Baji. Start over. You're strong. You always have been. I left without touching the chai. I didn't scream or cry in front of him. I simply turned and walked out of that shiny new flat. The door clicking shut behind me like the end of a chapter one never wanted to read. My chest felt hollow, but my mind was already moving. Not toward revenge, but toward truth. Truth has its own weight. It doesn't need shouting to be felt. The first person I told was my daughter Sarah, over a shaky video call from her dorm in Boston. When I explained, her face froze on the screen. Mama, he sold our home? The one with the mango tree I used to climb. Her voice cracked. Ahmed joined the call from California. His jaw tightened the way his father's used to when he was angry but holding it in. They both said the same thing. We're coming home. I told them no, not yet. I needed to handle this alone first. But their love wrapped around me through the phone like a blanket on a cold night. Word spread quietly at first. A cousin who worked at the registrar's office confirmed what I already knew and whispered it to others. Then an auntie from the old neighborhood called me, voice trembling. Nadia Beta. Is it true? Bilal sold your parents' house. I didn't have to say much. The facts did the talking. Within days, family WhatsApp groups that had been silent for years lit up. Messages poured in. Some shocked, some angry on my behalf. A few defending Bilal with weak excuses about family needs. But most were silent, the kind of silence that says everything. Bilal felt it. He started calling, texting, showing up at the guest house with envelopes of cash. Take it, Baji. 60-40, whatever you want. Let's not make this ugly. His eyes darted, the confidence gone. His wife stopped smiling when I passed her in the market. Their son, my nephew, looked away when our eyes met at a family gathering no one invited me to anymore. The new flat that once sparkled now felt too big, too quiet. Neighbors whispered. The security guard at his building gave me sympathetic nods when I walked by. In the end, no court case, no police drama. I didn't have the energy for years of fighting. Instead, I asked for what was fair. Half the sale amount, documented properly, and a written apology. Not for show, but so my children would one day know their uncle chose convenience over blood. He agreed. The check came through after 2 tense months. It wasn't the house, but it was something. Today I live in a small rented flat near my old neighborhood. Nothing fancy. 2 bedrooms, a tiny balcony with potted jasmine I planted myself. Every evening I sit there with a cup of chai, watching the streetlights come on, listening to children play cricket in the alley. The ache is still there, softer now, like an old scar that twinges before rain. I speak to Bilal sometimes, short, polite calls about health and festivals. Forgiveness isn't forgetting. It's choosing not to let poison live in your heart rent-free. I rebuilt, slowly, with the same hands that once scrubbed floors and bandaged knees. My children visit when they can. We make new memories in new places. And I tell them, trust is a gift, not a right. Give it carefully. Guard your home, not just the walls but the people inside them. If you've ever had someone close break that trust, tell me, in the comments for broken trust stories. How did you find your way back to peace? Did you confront, walk away, or rebuild in silence? I read every one. You're not alone. This is Nadia Ahmed. Thank you for listening.